how I started a deal packaging company and how you can do the same in 2023. Now, the first point that I want to make when it comes to starting your deal packaging company, and this is something that happened to me, is that you don't need loads of investors to get started. Now, when I first started my deal packaging company, I actually fell into it by accident. It wasn't on purpose. I'd bought and sold a couple of houses, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to run some Facebook ads to start reaching out to some motivated sellers that might be willing to sell their house. So I started running these ads on Facebook. They were doing really well. I was generating lots of leads and doing a lot of business. The problem was there was a couple of people who reached out to me off the back of these ads who said that they were interested in selling, but the price didn't quite work out for me. And then there was another one where it was a really good deal, but I just tied up my money in another flip project. So I had no other cash, I had no capital. I wasn't running a YouTube channel. I didn't have any contacts that I was aware of that I could raise the money for. Just wasn't in the headspace to take that project on. An investor actually saw my advert, and this investor reached out to me and said, if you ever come across any properties that you can't buy, make sure you pass it on to me, because I'd really happily take it on and I'll pay you a finder's fee. I was like, okay, that's interesting. And he put in the message, actually, he said, because I know you can't afford them all yourself. And I was like, you cheeky thing. I was so annoyed that I was like, do you know what, forget him. He can do one. But it stayed in the back of my mind. And when this opportunity came up, this guy reached out again. And I said, okay, how serious are you? Like, you know, I've got this one. Have a look at it and tell me what you think. He sent back a price that he would pay for it. I put that offer to the vendor and they accepted it. And I was like, oh, nice. Okay, that was pretty simple. And then I went to this guy and I said, look, here's the details, here's the contact information. And he said, how much do you want for it? And I thought, what's the most I could possibly think of? And just really stretched the boundaries here. And I was like, I want 5 grand. And he was like, cool, send me your bank details. And literally the same day, I got £5,000 sent to my bank account for communicating with him, offering on a house, obviously doing all the marketing in the lead up to that. But I'd offered on this house, passed it on to somebody, and literally within a few messages had received £5,000 into my bank account. And I was absolutely blown away. I then went on to work a lot with this person, this individual, and probably the first 10 to 15 deals that I ever sold were all sold to this one investor. I still work with him today, and it turned out actually that this investor actually buys, I think it's about 30 to 40 houses every single month. So he buys a lot of property. Now, what would you prefer when you're getting started in a deal packaging company? Would you like 100 investors that are all first-time buyers that are really jumpy about whether they want to get into business? Or do you want one buyer that you know is out there looking for high quality stock, high quality investment, and you know that when you send them the deal that matches that criteria, not only will they buy it, but they'll buy it quickly and they'll pay you on time? What would you prefer? I know what I prefer. It's the route that I went down, albeit by accident, but that was my experience in getting into deal packaging. And that's how I kind of fell into it. I was looking for my own deals, passed it on to this guy, made some money, and I thought, do you know what? There's actually good money to be made in this. And so I went on to set up a fully functioning deal packaging company, and it's made a lot of money since. But that would be my first tip to you guys, is don't worry about getting loads of investors. Find one very serious investor. All it takes is one investor, and you can genuinely make enough money every year to replace your income if you get the right investor. Now, just before I jump into point number 2, which is really important, I'm just gonna quickly let you know, I'm running something called the Deal Selling Launchpad this year. And I've worked with people in the past, but I want to work with a few more people. The idea behind the Deal Selling Launchpad is to invite a handful of people to a full day of training to do exactly as I've described, to help them launch their own sourcing business. I was able to launch my business, turn it into a 6-figure company very, very quickly. And I want to help people replace their income this year, build up a full-time salary working as a deal packager. You can do this alongside a job, or you can do it self-employed from the beginning, but I want to help people do that and make as much money as possible. So the Deal Selling Launchpad is designed to take you all the way from setup of your company all the way through to getting your first deal. It's a full day of training with me in Manchester. I would love to see you there. If you want to find out more information, click the link in the description. I think applications are still open, so make sure you go down, check out that information. And if you are genuinely serious about starting a deal packaging company, you need to get yourself down to the Deal Selling Launchpad. I'd love to see you there. Now, the second point that I want to make in this video when it comes to starting your deal packaging company is don't get too bogged down in the beginning with things like your branding, your website, your business cards, things like that. Now, I'm not saying it's not important, okay, but for your very first deal, I wouldn't worry about it. The kind of investors that I work with, they don't care what my website looks like. They don't care what business card, I don't think I've ever had a business card actually. They don't care what business cards I have. They don't care what my logo is. Like, that is something for the masses, and I fully get behind that and believe that that's important. However, like that first investor that I work with, all they care about is the deal. If I can bring them the right deal, they will pay me the right money. And so it's really important when you get started. It's something you can do, you can work on, get a logo, get branding, get a website, all that stuff. That's absolutely fine. But the key is get that first deal under your belt. I worked with somebody who rebranded their business three times before they even sold a deal. And I just kept on saying to them, you need to sell that first deal, because that is proof of demand. There's proof that the deals that you're finding is valuable enough to be able to sell. And if you spend a few £1,000s rebranding your website 3 times before you've even done a deal, what happens if it turns out you have no idea how to find a deal? What if it turns out you have no investors to buy the deals off you? It's just going to be a big waste of time and a massive waste of money. So don't get bogged down with doing all those little fancy things. 100% believe in it. I mean, we've got the property network, my business, my website, everything is branded. I 100% believe in it. But when you're first getting started, this is for people who want to start today or this year, starting a deal packaging company, the first thing you need to focus on is getting that deal secured and getting that deal sold. Once you've done it once, that's when I think, yeah, you've got the money, then you can spend that money on the branding, you can spend that money on the marketing. But first of all, the key thing is to get that first deal sold. By the way, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I make this content and I'm going to be making so much more over this year, helping and supporting people build their deal packaging companies, learning about investing in property in the UK. So if you're interested in that type of content, I want to help this community as much as possible. The best way I can do that is if you subscribe to continue to provide valuable videos over the next year. So make sure you subscribe, and on to the next point. Point number 3 is document everything. The reason why I say this is because this single-handedly launched my business in the most incredible way possible. I was documenting things that I was learning, I was documenting houses that I was looking around, a property that I'd refurbed, things like that. I just documented it, and off the back of one video, okay, and I can put a link to that video in the description. It's a really interesting video. It wasn't anything majorly special, but I was filming around a refurb that I'd just done. And at the beginning of the video, I said, by the way, if you're interested in buying deals like this one, make sure you click the link in the description, sign up to my mailing list, and I would love to help you find your best deal. That's what I said. Off the back of that video, I got over 1,000 investors sign up to that deal packaging list. Okay, now I know I said work with one person, and I 100% agree with it. But what I would recommend to anybody is when you're finding that first deal for that first investor, document everything. Put it all over Instagram, put it all over LinkedIn, put it on YouTube, shout about what you're doing and document what you're doing along the journey, because it's proof that you know what you're doing and a testimonial that you're working well with your investor. And then if you can share that with people, then people are seeing the experience that you have, the knowledge you have, and the actions that you're taking, as well as obviously the quality of deals that you're finding. So after that first deal, it will really help springboard you into getting more investors and more deals under your belt. The simplest way to do that is take pictures of every house that you view. If you're on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that, do a quick video walkthrough and then think in 10 seconds, what's one key takeaway from that property viewing? If you do that and you view 10 houses a week, you've got 10 pieces of content there, and you can build your brand, build your audience, and therefore build your list of high quality, serious investors. Document what you do. It's really important to scale your business. So those are my 3 points. Don't forget, if you're interested in launching your deal packaging company, you need to get along to the Deal Selling Launchpad. The link with all the information and the way to apply is down in the description. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because I genuinely want to offer as much value to you as possible over this next year. I'll see you guys in the next video.